Johnny Pecco. I'm also named in the dance community, Smash the Red. My family were dancers from the start. My dad's brother and my mother were dance partners in New Orleans. And then we moved here to Houston and learned to dance here. And then my brother, he got the bright idea that he could make money watching me and my sister. People pay to see me and my sister dance. When you go have parties and stuff, and they see us dancing, and they would throw money out, you know. So that's how I got started. And they kind of pushed me into it. And at first I kind of mad at them. Then after I got to doing it, I enjoyed it so much, you know. It like the dance was that really act like it was built for me. I learned to dance from my sister and my older brother and my older sister. I didn't want to learn. They used to whoop on my behind to make me learn. Now they say they're gonna have to whoop me to make me stop. You know, so it's all good, you know. When we were in New Orleans and stuff, I learned the second line, Zydeco and all that. So two-step wasn't the first dance I ever did. Zydeco was really the first in the second line, you know. But I really got to the place where I just seemed like most of the time that's what I wanted to do. I had two coming up. I had two big loves, basketball and dancing. And when you said either one, I was ready to go. So it's all good. When we first started dancing, there were two dances here. One was called Swing Out. It was for fast music. And then they had another dance that was called Slow Boogie. And we used to do Slow Boogie to slower songs, you know? And then somebody, I don't know who it was, because it wasn't me, but somebody got the bright idea how to change Slow Boogie into two-step so that you could dance off of any speed and you wouldn't need two dances, you just had one. So Slow Boogie was an 8-count dance with a breakdown. By that, I mean, they had, well, let me demonstrate for you. Now, two-step, the original Slow Boogie was 1, 2, 3, 4, breakdown. Right there. So when they decided that they wanted to do two-step, the two-step, to make it, they could dance off of any record, they took away the breakdown and they put another back step on it. So then it went 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And that's how you get two-step, called this dance two-step. See, every time you move your foot, you move it twice. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's two-step. Then you started doing it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like that. See? Start counting. First 4 steps are quick step. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then coming up to now, they changed it from the two-step to the first 2 steps, 4 steps. They made it 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now it's a 6-count dance. But there's a lot of old school people still do the 8-count step because the 8-count step can keep up with the 6-count on the dance floor. So that's how That's how, from what I know. I don't know the origins, but I do know what was there when I come up, you know. So it was a blessing right there.
Oh, okay.
But I do know this. It didn't come from Lindy Hop. I know that because for the simple reason that it's nothing close to Lindy Hop. And even when we were in New Orleans, we had a little bop they used to do in New Orleans, and it was closer to two-step than it was to Lindy Hop, you know, because they're two different. If a dance was made up from another dance, it would have some similarities to it, and two-step does not have any. It definitely didn't come from Lindy Hop. I think Swing Out got a better shot at DFW. Swing Out has a better shot at being formed from Lindy Hop than two-step. You know? But I really didn't transition over into the dance community until after I was a grown man. I went to the service and came back. And when I came back, I was able to go over to the other side. Now, I'm not gonna tell you that I didn't go to clubs when I was younger, because I did. I used to be in the Center Club, the Shandy, and all that, 11 years old. I was in there dancing and having a good time, and everybody thought I was 18 because I was so big, and I had a little mustache. When I really started hitting the clubs was really after I got out of the service. Then I was going in and out, going in and out, in and out. Then I met up with, I used to travel solo all the time. And then I met up with Leroy one night at the club. When we was in the club, I'll never forget this because it was so funny to both of us. It was only one woman in the club that could two-step. And he was on one side of the room, I was on the other side of the room, and we both trying to get to the woman first. And while we were racing, and he would call me something when I get her, and I'd call him something. We just fun though, you know, nothing to fight about, but you know, just fun. We laugh at each other. Then we hooked up and we started off, and we got Fifth Ward Express dance troupe, and that's where we started putting in all these leans, dips, lifts, and all that into two-step. And we were taking over the dance community at that time. And a lot of guys that didn't know how to do it would say, oh, I wouldn't let them do me like that. Some ladies were liking what we were doing, the lifts and the dips and the leans and all that. They was loving it. So they got on the bandwagon. And when somebody would ask me something, I'd show them. All you had to do is let me know you wanted to know, and I'd show you how to do it. It wasn't nothing that that's supposed to be kept a secret or nothing like that, but more people knew how to do it, the more fun people everybody would have. You know? When something came into my head that I wanted to try, I tried it and put it in to two-step, you know? So, and that's how I wound up getting the nickname Master Ed, you know? So, because I was always doing something that nobody else wasn't doing. The only reason why we even thought to start adding on to stuff because we was doing shows and people were paying good money to come see us. They didn't want to see us do the same thing they could see at the club. So we started adding on and putting other stuff in. So when people come out, and we did even sketches like Frankie and Johnny. And you know, we just had a good time with it, you know, and that show that made other people want to get into it, wanted to dance because it was something that you had a lot of fun with, you know, and man, the dance is incredible. The dance is just incredible. A lot of people don't know this man, but his name was Glover. Glover was the smoothest man. That man could do anything that he wanted to do on the dance floor. Him and my older brother was partners, and they used to dance, man. they put them spins down and all that stuff. And he's the first person I ever seen drop to the floor. He was the first one I ever seen drop to the floor and come back up with like a slide, you know, and come right back on time. You know, all I could say was, yeah, I got that one. I'll be doing that later on tonight. Back in the day, Afro days and stuff like that, that was Killer Smith, Lil Junior, Junebug, Rocky Raspberry. Man, they would get out there and dance and cut up. In fact, back in the day, you'd be on the dance floor dancing and you look good, somebody gonna get on the side of you and challenge you. And which made your game rise, you know, because when they challenge you got to cough up, baby. You got to come on in, you know. Put your stuff down. And I used to love that. I used to bring extra clothes with me because by the time 12 o'clock comes, everything I have on be soaking wet. I have to go and change and wipe myself off and put on some more clothes and come out and dance. Man, oh boy, I used to love it. Oh man, the 50-yard line, the Big Apple, the Stock Exchange, the Cinder Club, the Shandy. Woo, man, I can't sing all them clubs now. We had a lot of roughnecks, but when it came down to dancing, you know, wasn't hardly none of that. You know, every once in a while, you know, somebody would get into it about something, but you know, most of the time, the fighting was on the dance floor. You trying to outdo this one here, you know, and man, it was such a good time. In my life, I was dispatched from the war, and I really needed to go out and let off some steam, boy, and it sure was good. It helped me out a lot. Tori was a great dance partner, and she was one that said, let's move around. Let's move around. We done won contests in Houston. Let's move around. Next thing you know, we was in St. Louis, Chicago, Boston, Detroit, New York, and we won everywhere we went. And she was one that pushed me out there. I hadn't been out of Texas going dance. I mean, in a dance contest until I met Tori. And she the one that said, let's do it. And we went. And man, it was really good because everywhere we went, people stood up and applauded, and they hadn't seen two-step before. Because when you got style and grace, you're gonna have sex appeal. You're gonna have it. And that's just the way the dance is built. It's built for the woman. The effect that she made was that I could go anywhere. Mm-hmm. I wasn't just a Texas boy in two-step. I was Florida boy. I was New York boy. I was a California boy. Anywhere I went, I was accepted. Well, I believe that competition is good in any sport activity because number one, it makes the dance better. Number two, people have an outlet to do things. The dance grew because the more people that sat down and watched the competitions and said, I want to do that. I want to be, that next time they have that, it's going to be me on the dance floor, you know? And they come out and support the dance. And then when they do support the dance, and they find out how wonderful it is, how relaxing it is, then he tell a friend, or a boyfriend, or a neighbor, or sister, or brother, and the next thing you know, instead of 2, that's 4. Then there's 8. You know, like that. Instead of believing it or not, I used to have, can't do it now because I'm too old, but I used to take one foot and stick behind my knee and drop down to the floor and come up and spin up into a spin and come back and catch the lady right on time. Spin. You know how I learned how to do that? On the skateboard. Hit one of them cracks in the cement. Hit one of them cracks in the cement and boom, fell over, the leg went behind there and hit down one of them, spin back up. I had a video that went viral. It had over 4 million views. It was in Germany, France, all over the place, and it got nothing but great views. I was dancing with a young lady named Connie Tim, and they were out there dancing. And if you or anybody out here that really wants to see you dance, go to YouTube or Dance Museum or whatever it is and look for Red and Connie and watch the dance. It is beautiful. And that is it.
And you've always given me your honest advice, good or bad.
That's right.
Good, whether you're telling me I did something good or you're telling me I did something bad. And when I would go and perform, you know, I would get a lot of accolades, a lot of applause, and a lot of, oh, that was amazing, that was great, things of that nature. But I would always look for you to get your opinion because, yeah, you would tell me, hey, you did good, but,
Yeah.
but, you know, and the reason I always came to you is because I knew you were always going to give me something to work on.
Right.
You was always going to give me something to work on. That was great. You know, everybody loved it. That was great. Okay, but look at this. Or look at that. Or you could have held that dip a little longer. You could have put a little bit more sweep on that turn. You could have put you know, you always gave me that, you know. So talk about that a little bit and your mindset as far as, you know, what you're doing, you know, when you are talking to a student or when you are mentoring somebody.
Well, the first thing, I try to make sure that a student of mine understands I only have the best thoughts and intentions for that person. So they'll understand that when I'm telling them the truth, I'm not telling them that put them down, I'm telling them that to raise them up. And it's a big difference. It is a big difference. And if you can't help somebody, you need to keep your mouth shut. Period. Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear praise this, praise that. Well, you know, if you didn't want the truth, don't ask me. You know? And that's just that. No one should have when it comes to two-step, no one should have a move that they're the only one that can do it. It's in the dance community. It's in the dance. I mean, hey, I have a lot of people say, I got that from you, got that. I just smile and go ahead because that only tells me you're paying attention and you're looking. And that's a beautiful thing, right there.
Something else you used to do with me.
Yeah.
You would teach me a move, but then you would tell me, bring me something back.
Of course.
Don't just do what I taught you the way I taught you to do it. And to this day, I tell my students the exact same thing you told me. Bring me something back. Elaborate on that.
Well, the reason why I would tell you that is because I was teaching you how to dance. But I wasn't teaching you to be me. I want you to be you on the dance floor. And if anything, I want you to be better than me. And that's the reason why I used to tell you, bring me somebody. Don't stay right there. Because see, that means you're cutting your ceiling off. You can't rise no more. Right there, if you waiting on me to just show you what to do, you're going to be right here up the whole time. But now, when you add a little bit more, you raise it, you raise it, you raise it. And that's the reason why I used to do that. Because when people really care, they find different ideas and stuff. You might not think like me. You may think in another direction. And when you get on the dance floor, you make a move I ain't never seen before. And I'm gonna be the first one to tell you. Oh yeah, I like that. Was feeling good. I got it too. You better believe I got it. Okay. Hey, it's all good. But you know, if you don't, a lot of people just want to learn how to dance. They don't want to learn to compete. And that's okay. Don't get me wrong when I say that you need to keep the ceiling going. If this is what you want to do, you and your dance partner don't want to go no further. This is enjoyment to me, to you. It's enjoyment to me. It's enjoyment to me when I see you walk out on the dance floor and start dancing, you know. But at the same time, I would like to see somebody go out there and raise the ceiling, and bring the smoke. Okay, I like that.
Your philosophy on competing. You used to tell me that a showcase is like a movie. It has highs and lows. You don't want to stay high. You don't want to stay low.
When you in a dance contest, you don't repeat a bunch of moves. You don't repeat, and you don't pause. The only time a pause is accepted in a two-step move is with sensuality. By that I mean, say you spin the lady back and you got a hand and you bring the hand down. You roll down the hip, bring down the hip, you grab it like that, and you spin around and then you lean up forward or backward. Right.
When you didn't know me.
Mm-hmm.
I did my first beginners competition. This is when 2+2 was coaching me at the time. We were at Reminisce, and me and Barbara was competing. And I came off the floor and you stopped me. And I don't think you even knew me, but I don't know what you saw in me, but you saw something in me to stop me and say, you don't look like you're having fun. You said, your face is serious. He's like, when you dance, you told me when I'm dancing, you said, smile, enjoy yourself, have a good time. And you told me something that I remember to this day. And I tell, like I said, a lot of the things you told me, I tell my students, and I tell them, the energy that you told me, that the energy that you give the audience, they're gonna give it back to you. And so when I went back out there more relaxed and just having fun. And of course, we end up winning the competition. Right. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, yeah,
that energy, you know.
When I tell to people about the energy, it automatically is a flow dance. It's not a dance where you stand still. You have to keep moving because that's the way the dance is built. And when you're moving, if you're moving like you need a Red Bull, people gonna look at you like you need a Red Bull. But when you dancing and it look like you having a good time, you energized, you into what you're doing, then they're into what you're doing. So what you give is what you're gonna get. You know, I've seen some people that can dance very well, but they dancing like somebody owns something, and you're looking out, frowning up, and another person come in that didn't dance as well, but they danced with a smile on their face, they was having a good time, the energy was up, they won that money. So when that's the thing about dancing, you have to give to receive. And if you ain't giving, you ain't getting. And it's simple as that. And I tell that to every person that I teach, that number one thing, energy up. Number two, don't try to be a carbon copy of me. Number three, always get a dance, try to get out of your comfort zone. Because that's how you raise the level. You raise it up. If you if you have some set moves that you do, and you just keep doing the same moves and dancing and all that, you never change, people are gonna get tired of looking at you. They're gonna say the same thing every time. Change it up. Even if you go out there and you dance and you turn the woman loose and you spin to the right. Next time you go out there, turn the woman loose, spin to the left with a slide. Make them pay attention. Keep your energy up. Smile. Because you do want people to believe that you love this dance. And that's how you win. That's how you win.